Morning. Morning, Junaid. Awesome. Courtney should be on pretty quick. And yeah, I hope everybody's enjoying their morning, wherever they're at. Got my essentials. Got my Yeti cup with the tea. Went with lavender. Morning. Hey guys. Morning Heather, morning Paige. What's up everybody? Happy Monday. I'm pretty sure it's Monday. All the days kind of blend together some weeks. And yeah, Courtney should be showing up pretty quick. In the meantime, if you guys have any questions while we're doing this live for us, just type them in. And then, yeah, we'll do our best to respond and engage and, yeah, just speak from the heart with everything that we're creating and cultivating. Just a minute.
Good morning.
There she is. Morning.
Hi. Good morning. Hi, Kevin.
Hey, Courtney.
Hi.
I'm just going to back up here a little bit. All right. So, yeah, we've got some people showing up for the live this morning. Morning, Teresa. Morning, Tyson. Hey, guys. And so I was just saying, if you guys have questions that you want us to speak to, just type them in and we'll do our best to, weave that into the thread of what we've got going on this morning. And so, yeah, good morning and welcome to this live where we're intending to talk about our online retreat coming up, Collective Hearts 3.5. And all things like heart related. We're going to do some processing probably as well. And then we're also going to trust whatever's coming up for everybody that's tuning in and, maybe tuning into the bigger picture on the planet right now a little bit as well and kind of go from there. So maybe, Courtney, you could introduce yourself and share a little bit more about you.
Hello. I am tuning in from the Slocan Valley outside of Nelson, BC, and it's a really snowy, magical day. I'm looking out the window. It feels good. And I am actually a social worker. I have my master's in clinical social work, and I've had a private practice for about 10 years. I've been practicing for 15. But I have a lot of really alternative ways that I work, one of which is working with the nervous system and helping heal neural pathways in the brain and repatterning DNA and imprints that we're carrying from ancestors. And then also just for collective imprints. So that's part of what I do, and I do ceremony, and I work with shamanism and energy work. I work with the crystalline field. Essentially, I just really am supporting people to come into their authentic selves and into their hearts and drop into life in a really embodied way where they get to really live the life that they feel in their heart. And so then I have all these different ways I work with that. And yeah, I just love working with you, Kevin, because it feels like we have different professions and different things we've learned, but it feels like they really work well together and they weave together really well, and there's lots of resonance. And I just love how much we can hang out in the heart field together and then invite people into that. So even right now, it just feels like so good to feel that with you. Yes, I'm very passionate too about collective healing and this whole idea of that each of us, by becoming more conscious and aware and healing ourselves, we're actually healing the world around us and we're awakening the world around us. And I really feel there's people all over the planet doing that. And so that's like a huge passion of mine, is like, how do we help bring global harmonization? How do we help bring global well-being and health and working together? And I mean, this is both like a pondering, a question that I hold, and it's like this really interesting thing to show up for it, because I feel like I have a bunch of tools to help with that process.
Oh, yes. Thank you for sharing. Could feel the energy moving through my body on that. And
Hmm.
I love working with you too, Courtney. It's kind of right from the beginning. For those that don't know Courtney's story in terms of us working together, yeah, it's been not quite a couple of years yet of knowing you, but it just seems like a lot of my background and profession in Chinese medicine and going deep into the body, biology, toxicity, all these different things. It comes back to the mind, but it always comes back to the heart. And I think that's where this collective hearts journey really began. Is like I remember chatting with you about what are you seeing in your practice and what am I seeing in my practice in the clinic and what are people really needing. And so I'm so grateful that we've been working on the heart field together, individually and together, and then for the global aspect too, and especially a lot of the in-person retreats that we've done now. That
Hmm.
stuff gets me so excited and lights me up. And many of you may know we have another one coming up in later in March, Collective Hearts 4.0. But yeah, what I am really curious about, and I think why we've joined forces as well, is that we have different things that we're bringing to the table, but they do dovetail together very nicely of rewiring the brain and rewiring neural pathways, and especially as it relates to emotions and as it relates to the heart, very much so. And that we can approach it with different tools, and we sort of end up in a similar framework, I guess, of getting the hearts to heal and
Hmm.
open. And gosh, what an important time on the planet right now. And maybe that's a good place for us to begin a little bit more too, is just let's all attune together and get into the heart space right now. Yeah, hand on your heart. And just take a few moments of nice, slow, easy breathing, breathing into the heart, coming into balance with your energy there, putting your focus there. Starting to feel what it's like to reside in your own heart and to tune into yourself at that level and to your environment at a heart level vibration. Maybe some of you even beginning to feel the connection that we have to every other living thing on the planet through this heart field. And we'd also like to invite you guys to feel the collective hearts vibration and energy field that we've been working on and cultivating and growing, and that it seems to have taken on its own energy of a very safe, very sacred, supported way of healing and opening the heart. So just tune into that vibration. And I'm curious what's coming up for you right now, Courtney, if you want to share more about that space too.
Yeah, I was just I heard these words just to invite everyone to really allow their awareness to fill their chest. So to see how much your awareness can take in inside your chest, to see how much space that heart frequency can start to fill as you invite it to expand. And even just to like tune into how immense and spacious it can really be in there. Even if you go in there and there's a lot of other stuff, noticing where there's space and seeing if you can feel the immensity within that space. It's almost like this heart is like a portal into the universe. It's the infinity within us and all around us. And the heart is the portal for this. Beautiful. And just noticing yourself residing in that space and hanging out in that space. And as we drop into that spaciousness, there's this reorganizing of everything around that. It's like that heart space is really good at bringing coherence in to the rest of our system as we settle into the spacious love of that heart space. So I'm just noticing that everything's starting to reorganize around that in myself, and I'm also feeling you all out there and feeling this happening, and just really calling attention to how easeful this can be, really. Beautiful. Taking a deep breath. And as things are coming into more coherence, meaning more symmetry and harmony, I'm going to invite us to notice any parts within our chest or our heart that are feeling tight or pain or anything else that's coming up. Kevin and I were talking about how right now there's so much coming up in the heart for people. Feels like we're really being asked to look at our hearts in a deeper way. We're really being asked to alchemize a lot from our hearts right now. And this is this beautiful opportunity because that tells us that our hearts are ready to work with that and they're ready to heal these things. So just inviting you to welcome all of those pieces into the spacious love. Allowing the spacious love to sort of hold and envelop and surround and welcome. Beautiful. And noticing how this energy knows just what to do and how to help, how to support the change and transformation. And there's nothing you need to do except witness. Beautiful. So just seeing lots clearing as we do this part of the process. What are you noticing, Kevin?
I'm just inviting a beautiful light into everybody's heart space.
Mm.
You know, seeing that sunshine starting to radiate from within and filling your chest and filling that heart center more fully and allowing it to illuminate, shine light on things, even things that might be intense or uncomfortable, that light shining is so cleansing and so clearing, and just noticing even at this stage of the process how your body feels. And for me, feeling more relaxed, more grounded, more centered, very guided from the heart space. It's a space I know well, and this is something that I do each morning as well, as just bring the energy and the intention of my day and what I want to cultivate, what I want to share into the world, but from this place. And, you know, certainly what Courtney was speaking to as well is what I've been noticing in my own life, you know, heart things moving, cultivating, and many, many people around me, you know, friends, really beautiful connections I have, and then also many clients and patients of mine in the clinic, like going through a lot relationally, even career, life, work-wise, in their home, outside of the home. And certainly you could see the macro happening on the planet, that there's a lot of uncertainty and there's a lot of things shifting and moving and changing. And that can be very true for many people in their bodies and their hearts right now. Maybe different symptoms are coming up, maybe different health issues are coming to the surface, partly because they might just want to be seen and recognized, and that's a lot of what we've done at the in-person retreats that we do, and certainly the online as well, is shining light through the heart space to illuminate what's ready to be seen, what's ready to be cleared. That's what the heart wants, is to just sit in that wisdom that we have. It's so wise. And how do we listen? And so that's actually a question I'd love you to share more on, Courtney, even for yourself, is how do you listen to your heart?
Mm.
Or even how do you help others tune into their hearts more?
Such a good question. I feel like it's actually something I keep asking myself all the time. I'm like constantly learning it, which feels like that's part of the way the heart works is the heart almost feels like it's always it's more curious instead of like a really like hard knowing. There's like a curiosity, and it feels like it really tunes into the moment and feels into
Mm,
it's very feeling based. It feels like the heart is almost like this frequency that shines out, that shines this like light of love around. And also it's really good at being sensitive and picking up on the world around and taking in information and really resonating it through the body so that we can feel feel what it is that's true for us. um, so for me, it's sort of this process of listening to when I tune into my heart, it's like I hear this like unconditional vibration of love that's there that can hold whatever it is I'm exploring. And then also it's like a listening, sometimes it comes in words, often it's an emotion or sensation that I really receive the deeper messages.
mm,
um, Emotion is such a amazing way that I feel like my heart speaks to me, like
mm-hmm.
tears or even anger, or it's like, oh, okay, the anger is like, this is what I stand for. Like, this is what's important to me. Or,
Yeah,
oh, this is how much this matters to me that it's bringing up this much sadness. And it's this way that my heart teaches me about myself and about the felt sense of life. And
yeah,
then another way for me is I see lots of visuals and energy. So like right now I see this like golden light of energy pouring in the back of my chest, and I feel like it's coming into the back of the chest of everyone that's tuning in. And I even feel it for the people that are gathering for Collective Hearts 3.5 is this like golden light energy.
mm,
And it feels like it's saying right now, I might invite everyone to tune in to what is this light, this golden light, saying to you and your heart? What is the message of this beautiful, infinite, golden light of love that's pouring into our chests? The message that I'm hearing right now is there's always enough. That love is always there. And it really is able to carry us through whatever we're encountering or facing.
mm.
Whew. I'm really noticing how much stronger it is. Yeah, it's like this huge river of wow. How about you, Kevin? How do you notice your heart, or how do you listen?
Yeah, and thank you for sharing. And I'd invite everyone, if you're not currently doing that now, just to, use that visual Courtney described of that beautiful light. I am seeing golden light, but maybe some of you might see other colors, other spectrums. Maybe it's more of a rainbow light. Envision it coming in through the back of your heart. That's a really powerful receiving area. And I think, in a lot of my own life growth and development, that was something I'm still working on, is opening up the back of my heart to receive. And I know that many of my clients and many of my friends, this is a topic, and we talk about it at our retreats as well, is how do we just receive? In many ways, sometimes it seems easier to give, and through the front. But when you talk about receiving or accepting love or light or energy coming into the back of the heart, it takes some work. And I realized I had a lot of blockages and layers to receiving on some level, um, not willing to receive. And yeah, hey everybody tuning in. Thank you for all the hearts. It's
Mhm.
beautiful in this receiving moment, even for us to receive. How can we receive love? And so when I'm going through my day and when I'm going through my weeks, when I feel actually an indicator for me is when I feel tightness in my T-spine, like my mid back and upper back. Often what I discover when I tune into it more, I go into meditation or I'm reaching out for help and support, is that yeah, I'm stopping my receiving, or
Mhm.
I'm trying to block the receiving, and maybe because there's so much good that's going on. And there's a lovely book that I've recommended a lot called The Big Leap, and they in the book they call it upper limiting. And so, different symptoms, illnesses, even colds and flu and all these different things. And so actually what's coming through right now is that I wonder about how much the virus on the planet right now, COVID, might be related to humanity's um, inability or ability to receive more
Mhm.
love, to make things better, to live in a more gracious heart space. And so when people are upper limiting, it might be abundance that's trying to come into your life in many forms, not just financially. It can be coming in love, abundance of love. And if you're not used to receiving that much love in your life or allowing it into your body, if somebody is showing up, friends, family, even practitioners, it can be a lot to receive and take it in. And you might actually have symptoms that come up or anxiety that comes up simply because there's something trying to come through to support you. And I've definitely noticed that myself at times. It's actually really amazing good things that are going on, and I'm feeling tight. My body's feeling tight. And I think, don't upper limit the amount of love that you can potentially feel, because the heart is so vast. And that's another thing I've learned, is how much we can hold in our hearts and in our bodies simultaneously. And
Mhm.
that notion in the past that I didn't want to feel things in my heart because they didn't feel good, or yeah, they were, grief or sadness or anger. And this notion, I think years ago, that if you're on the spiritual path and you're living a heart-based life, that everything is, super easy, everything just flows. It's just, it's joy and bliss all the time. And that hasn't been my experience. I don't know if that's been your experience, Courtney, but it can take a lot of courage to live in the heart continuously, because it can be uncomfortable, and the heart is, sharing past hurts or different things that it's trying to move through. And so I think that's a real key, is being with those emotions. And that's something that you're so beautiful at for yourself and for others. When we work together, I love, seeing how you can flow with your own emotions and how you can flow with other people's emotions and stay completely anchored in that heart space. Because
Mhm.
when we do that, that's what we're offering, is to allow all those emotions to come up in a graceful way. Sometimes it can get messy, but so healing and so cleansing. And you can see people's faces literally change visually at the events we do. And I'm always blown away by that, of, after a day, even 2 days, people are looking, 5 years younger, or, some frown and some wrinkles and things like that. They almost like soften and disappear because they've dropped so much tension. They've dropped some of these things that they were, you know, grasping on, or had so much tension around, and that was almost like choking off the flow of energy to their heart and to their life. and then you see it being mirrored in their relationships and things. So when you can come back to breathing and breathing through the heart, all that stuff can begin to move again. And certainly in Chinese medicine, issues show up when things are stuck. And as a human, a fellow human, emotions can create a lot of like stuck energy if they're not being looked at or acknowledged or even, even felt in some ways. So I'm curious to hear what you have to say about that too. And thanks to everybody for your heart energy. Even in this moment, I
Mm-hmm.
can just feel, yeah, so much flow moving. And that's our intention today too, is just to help move things through that heart space and hold space for everybody as well.
I know, isn't it fun? It's so fun to just get together and explore the heart. Like, what if, like, so good. It's so good. Well, and it's interesting because it's like so true what you're saying about this. Like, it's not, it's kind of like the warrior's path a little bit, living the path of the heart. And, like, it's almost like a paradox. It's like the path of the warrior, and what I notice is the more that I am with my heart and I'm with heart energies, then those energies can meet whatever I'm experiencing. So even though it's like a waking, more intense emotion,
Mm-hmm.
there's also more resource to meet it. So it's kind of this interesting paradox. It's like more is being brought up and there's more resource to like, so this is the magic I feel of the heart is it feels like there's this like building of this immensity of holding. And from years of working with the nervous system, the way that our systems work is once there's enough safety, once there's enough support and love and resource in the field, trauma and emotions that are stuck can actually move quite easily, even though it can be uncomfortable. Like, there's
Mm-hmm.
still like the feeling moving through, but it can move quite easy when there's enough support. And our hearts are like so like the love that they hold is so supportive. So it's kind of this interesting dance. And, part of that paradox is the more resource then we have and the more love that we have, then the bigger the stuff that's going to move. And I feel that too, Kevin. I love how you spoke to that. I really feel like that's what's happening on the planet right now is actually our consciousnesses and our capacity to bear witness and to be with deeper things has grown. And so now it is emerging,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes we don't like how it's emerging. And sometimes when you're in it, it's like, wait, what is this transformative? I'm not sure. But but it's kind of this organic, like, now it's time and it can be held. So I mean, even for me, I don't know if anyone else notices this, but when I just look at what's hurting and that's all I see, my body gets tight. There's this, like, my chest pulls in, there's kind of like this. And then when I attune to the love that can meet that, it's like suddenly I can hold both and my whole body just expands. So I
Yeah.
might even invite everyone for a second just to notice that, like, whether it's inside of you or in the world, like just noticing like what is wanting to move through, even right now as we're talking about the heart, because just us gathering and talking about the heart is going to make things move. So just noticing what's moving through, and how do you feel that light and love, that beautiful light that Kevin brought in, the beautiful capacity of the heart to just open. It's like the heart love energy is the container, the river through which the emotion can flow.
Yeah, beautiful.
And, one of my sisters yesterday said, and I don't need to know the story of everything that moves through either, or every muscle that relaxes, I can just witness it move through.
Well, and I think in the witnessing of the heart with the emotions, for example, you go through an experience. Um, this happens many times in our life of what's true for you, and then just voicing it. For example, stating even to yourself or to someone else, like, I'm feeling really hurt.
Hmm.
But then just stopping there and not then starting to project or judge or blame for yourself of, I shouldn't be hurt. I should be strong enough. I can handle these things. Just like pausing and acknowledging, I'm feeling really hurt right now. And then allowing what you said, it's so beautiful and powerful, allowing the love of the heart space to just hold that.
Hmm.
You know, and I'm getting the image of how many of us would hold a child that way if
Hmm.
they feel really hurt and they show up and they say, Dad or Mom, whatever, like, I'm feeling really hurt. How would you support them? And generally, I can see that it's like you just scoop them up and hold them. So if you can do that with your own emotions, with your own heart space, and just hold those and love that and nurture that, oh yeah, that's powerful. And the strength and the vulnerability was a theme that we dove into in great detail at the last in-person Collective Hearts 3.0. And I think a lot of us learned so much with that, that you can hold both and that they're almost one and the same. They're almost, one coin with two sides, that vulnerability can actually be so strong. And I think sometimes it's the fear of moving into the vulnerable state. We forget about the love and the strength that can come along with it, and how we can almost cultivate both of those together in the heart space. And so when you courageously maybe share something like that, that I'm feeling really hurt, you're being vulnerable, but you're also acknowledging the strength that you have, and the amount of love that you can hold for yourself. And you're also giving somebody else potentially, if you're speaking it to somebody else, an opportunity to meet that too. But you got to meet it here first, or at least that's my notion. And already what we talked about, bringing in that light through the back of your heart, allowing and receiving love to come through, and then sharing for yourself or for others what that emotion is that you're feeling is just being acknowledged is enough to alchemize and transform those emotions.
Hmm. I love that you brought vulnerability in. It feels like such a key. It's like the willingness to be vulnerable with self and other, hey? Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and I really, it feels like that is the portal to the movement. Like I think of even inside myself, I have to be vulnerable with myself and really acknowledge what's true for the movement to happen. And also, I saw this image while you were sharing of when we're vulnerable with other and we just share what we're feeling, then we get to hold it together.
Mm-hmm.
It's like if I say, Kevin, I'm sad, because then I'm not alone in holding it. It's like we're holding it together.
Yeah.
And it amplifies that field. It amplifies the support to allow it to move. And I know for myself, like there are lots of emotions or things that have felt too big for me to hold all by myself. But the minute that I speak it or I'm witnessed or someone else gives me, it's like just it just can move. I always
Oh, that's
marvel at
powerful.
that in group spirit spaces, in my
Yeah.
women's group, in our retreats, how things that one person might need to meditate for a long time or have to work with for a long time for it to shift, they just shift in this bigger way because there's so much witnessing, there's so much awareness, there's so much, we're all holding it together.
Yeah, I
And
love that about the group energy. And yeah, that's something that really stuck with me. And I can't remember when you'd shared it in the past at some point, is yes, some things are too big to hold by yourself.
mm,
And I don't know if this is just a guy thing or a society thing. I think many people have felt this way, is you feel like you need to hold it on your own. Like if you can't, or you need help or you need support, that you're weak somehow, or you're not enough, you're not good enough. You think I should be able to hold all this like totally on my own. I got it. And
mhm,
sometimes we just can't, and that's where the overwhelm happens, and that's where learning how to ask for support can be so helpful. And
mm,
even in my own life, I've shared this on other like podcasts and things before in the past, trying to be so independent, so
mhm,
strong, that guy, like I can carry all these things, and then starting to crack in different places and not acknowledging how much was actually being held or how much I was holding on my shoulders. And then finally getting to that point, which is, really beautiful too, that I just felt like I couldn't hold it anymore on my own. And then I reached out for support. And this funny thing happened is that I got support. And
Right.
it was so helpful. And I remember having this aha moment then of like, wait a minute, if I ask for support, I can get support, and that can be helpful. And getting past the judgment or the view that somehow I was weak, and that
Mm,
actually the strength for people reaching out is courageous. It can take, a lot of strength to reach out and ask for help in many capacities. And so I think a lot of people that have this judgment or view of themselves, if I try and reach out or I need help, I need support in life, that is actually maybe a sign of really beautiful strength and courage. The
mm,
strength of that vulnerability is enough to move mountains externally, but it's enough to move mountains inside. And I think that's one of the keys of transformation I've experienced in my life, was like asking for support, accepting help
mm,
in various forms as I needed, and allowing others to show up for me as I was showing up for many people. That we can't always hold things on our own all the time. Some things are too big and too immense, especially in the energetic field. And I love, and you do too, like we love doing retreats, we love doing group healing, because there's so much power and support in that collective field together, that even if you're not sharing openly and voicing things like in a circle, I still witness people shifting huge things within themselves just by being in the room, just by being online together all at the same time as maybe other people are sharing, because we all have these similarities of being human. We've had hurts, we've had traumas, we've had harmony and bliss and flow, and hopefully we've experienced a lot of those things. But if we can acknowledge them all together in that heart space, feels like it opens up a completely new frontier inside your body. And
mm.
that's certainly something I've experienced, of living more open-hearted and living courageously in that way as much as I can. And sometimes it's messy and unpredictable, but it feels so grounded and good and solid that it opens up so much expansion of what you can experience as a human, what you can experience in relationship, what you can experience within yourself, how much growth that you can have. The heart holds like so much keys. And I'm just, even in this conversation, I'm continually like re-inspired to show up and support people in that collective heart's energy that we've cultivated. And seeing the breakthroughs that happen is definitely what gets me out of bed in the morning too. So yeah, so
Mm,
grateful.
mm. As you were speaking, I was just hearing it's like that receiving support, it's receiving love, it's like
Mm.
receiving heart energy from others, you know? And um, it's kind of this beautiful gift we all have to give to each other. And what a gift to even open to support is a gift for the other, Like I love it when people open to me and I get to meet them with my love. So I
Hmm.
just, you opening up to support, I could just see how that's a gift to the people around you and like to me, to get to support and meet you. And likewise, it's like this delight. And I was really feeling as you were sharing too, this place of just that place where we're like, oh, I've got it. I'm independent. This is my stuff. I need to work through it. And it kind of like takes away from this realization that most of what we're carrying in our hearts or in our experience is not just ours, it is collective. And like very likely when you share something, I always find this when people share in circle, that I can resonate with everything that everybody says because there's a piece of that in me too. And
Yeah.
so when we hold space for it to move in you, it moves in me too. And so it's realizing it's not just our hurt or our issue, it's all of ours. It's all of
Yeah.
ours, and it's all of ours to witness and hold and move, and we're teaching each other. It's like you know, your vulnerability reveals something about me. I'm like, oh, I have that in me too. Or you know, my partner has that too, and that helps me understand my partner. Or, oh, that's been coming up with my friendship. You know, it's this beautiful gift of
Yeah.
awareness, and meeting it with love. I just keep seeing this image of, um, as we're gathering, we're just this continual flow of energy moving through, and together we're just holding it and cultivating that heart energy, and then just allowing what needs to be spoken, what needs to be felt, what needs to be seen to move through. And really,
Hmm.
that is what a heart-centered life is. We're kind of walking around in that continual flow, really, that
Yeah.
continual flow. Yeah.
Yeah. Not shut down, not closed on or closed off or closed in, but, open with some really good balance of strength and vulnerability at the same time. And, I'm just thinking about the tools that we use at in-person events and also online is, sound healing and even chanting. And I could say like chanting is something relatively new in my life, in the last few years, sort of thing. I didn't grow up chanting. I had never been to events or retreats or anything. Like it just wasn't something that was part of my field then. And so, from a personal standpoint, I remember the first time doing some chanting, I felt a bit funny. And, you're kind of looking around, but then funny things happen. You feel this resonance in your body, and you start to realize, especially in group setting, the resonance of the other people. And as we've been hosting Collective Hearts at the beautiful Sentinel, they have this beautiful round maloka. It's this amazing structure in this room, but it's round. And I love the energy in there of how it moves.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the most memorable moments of the events that we've done is when we're all chanting together. And the sound just comes up and reverberates and comes back in, almost like a torus field. It comes up and around
Mm-hmm.
and then down the center, and what I feel in my body and in my heart and in my whole like cellular matrix, it's hard to describe really. And so, we do that in online events also, but there is this like collective energy that comes together. And, there's lots of even science that backs that up, that when you chant and you're toning, you're affecting the vagus nerve that affects your nervous system directly. It can actually reset things. The vibration through the bones and the structure in your skull actually does a lot of healing. And so it seems like, there's lots of science behind why chanting and toning and things like that. And I think why we do that naturally on our own. I'm a big, um, I do sound effects in my day by myself. If I'm cleaning or I'm working on something, I don't know if you guys find that too, or if you do that, but I might be humming or singing in the way that I can sing anyway, but mostly like sound effects. And I often wonder if it's this natural, innate way of affecting my nervous system and creating balance. And so, yeah, I love the tools that we get to engage in online and in person, and even like constellation work, meditation, guided like visual journeys and things like that. This is all part of what the day is going to be for Collective 3.5 coming up. And I know that you and I love like playing in that field together because you can see the energy move and you can feel it move. And then what shifts for people can be really powerful, even with really simple tools. It's always surprising to me.
Oh my goodness, it's almost like the simpler the better. I was thinking just to share one thing right now. Maybe just
Yeah.
inviting everyone. Can you hear it? Yeah.
Yes.
So just inviting everyone to tune into their hearts and just let this beautiful tone land. Beautiful. And so just
Thank
inviting
you.
everybody, yeah,
And
just
just inviting you guys to notice. Yeah.
to notice, just seeing what that evoked in you, what that moved in you. I always feel like it's like little sparks of magic are landing in my heart. Be curious if anybody wanted to type what they noticed inside or in comments below. And then I'm just going to invite you to notice what happens as you expand your heart energy and you view the world around you right now in this moment from your heart, from that magic that was evoked. Almost like viewing the world around you from that heart. The rose-colored glasses.
I
The
just
heart.
see a comment here from lovely Anu, just play.
Play,
And
yeah.
I love how you said it, like sparks of magic in the heart. That just gets me super excited. And that feels so good. And I see Paige, thank you. Feeling giggly, instant
Mm-hmm.
smile.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah, I'm feeling that elation and that
Mm-hmm.
energy, and that's I think that's why so many of us love music too. Like sound is powerful, music is powerful, chanting, that tribal community energy can change a vibration in a beautiful way. And so I've done a lot of meditation, I've done lots of different things on my own for years now. And at the same time, when I'm in a group together and we're all doing that, it's different. It's different.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that individual experience can't be replaced by the group experience, and both are amazing. But there is something about coming together in groups because that auric field, that heart field that we have, it does, extend beyond us. So when you have a bunch of heart energy, heart focus, sound healing, whatever it might be, even group meditation together in proximity, either online as we use technology in this modern century, and as we come together, oh, there's this like group resonance. It's almost like a symphony coming together of each of the individual instruments, creating that harmony.
Mm-hmm. It
Oh,
feels like
yes, I knew.
it feels like that's what our hearts are doing all the time, um, is dancing this like orchestrated harmony, with
Hmm.
the vibration. And music is just bringing it even more into our awareness or even more into our perception and like amplifying it. Mm-hmm. Ah.
Beautiful.
Hmm.
I just want to, share gratitude for everybody tuning in. It feels like some good energy has shifted, for me and for everybody connecting in this heart space. And yeah, if you have any questions out there, feel free to message Courtney or myself about the upcoming Collective Hearts 3.5 one-day online Zoom retreat. And we'll dive into all things heart. So if you're feeling like you have things that are ready to move and ready to shift and want to, find that strength and vulnerability within yourself, living in that open-hearted, courageous way, we're going to be sharing a lot of tools and guided practices to do that in real time. We're not just going to be talking about it, we'll be doing it. And we'll be helping feel through things that are ready to shift. And it's always a lot of fun. And yeah, I can't wait. It's less than 2 weeks away now, Saturday, January 30th. And yeah, Courtney and I will be broadcasting together. So you'll see us on one screen together. So
Mm-hmm.
just yeah, reach out if you have any questions or want to sign up.
I'm so excited. I can feel the people that are going to be gathering, and I'm just excited to actually see like who they are and what they're gonna bring to the space too. It's really fun to gather online actually and feel everybody in their places and the land and their home. So it's like this different way to gather, but it feels like it amplifies the energy. So I'm so looking forward. Thank you everyone for joining. It's kind of this delightful thing that I get to share with Kevin and with all of you. And I really feel like for myself, I'm going through a lot of heart alchemy and preparation. I'm getting ready, learning a lot of heart lessons to bring into this space.
Yeah, for those that haven't been to our events yet, either online or in person, energy typically starts moving well in advance because you're already tapping into the energy field that's there. You're tapping into the collective hearts field. And yeah, it can be like a fun, exciting time, and things may come up to be transformed and moved. It's a beautiful process. So thanks so much for joining me this morning, Courtney, and for everybody again joining either on this live right now or that are watching in the future. And yeah, sending out lots of heart love to everyone. And my wish is to have everyone receive more love, let more love into your life and into your hearts. And yeah, so grateful for you, Courtney. Thank you.
Hmm. I'm gonna be now leaving and carrying around that beautiful energy coming in the back of my heart and that light you invited into the chest. I'm gonna just go start bopping around. Maybe walk around with this too. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
sparks of magic in the heart. I'm gonna be
Mm.
rocking that all day.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right. Thank you,
Bye.
everybody. Bye for now. Goodbye, everybody. We'll talk to you soon.